Hello and welcome, friends. My name is Dr. Shailesh Agrawal, Executive Director, Building Materials and Technology Promotion Council, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Government of India. And today I'm going to conduct another FAQ session on a very promising and emerging construction system, namely light gauge steel frame construction, also known as cold form steel system. Acronym is LGSF or CFS. For the session, I have with me Mr. Mohan Penmetsa. He's a LGSF technology expert and represent framecad Solutions Private Limited, one of the leading company from New Zealand in the area of cold form steel. Framecad is also pioneer not only in supplying equipment and machinery for production of light gauge components, but also provide CAD support and field level implementation of the technology on turnkey basis. Thank you very much, Mr. Mohan, and I warmly welcome you for the session.
Oh, it's pleasure is mine. Thanks for the invitation.
I'm going to ask you a few commonly raised questions about the system. We will be recording the entire session with the objective that our technograhis, who are change agents of innovative and sustainable construction technologies, can learn and understand various nuances of LGSF and at the same time dispel their misconceptions about the use, structural and functional performance, maintenance, etc. Let me also tell you that viewers of this session are not only technical professionals, but also faculty and research students, public and private officials, developers, builders, policymakers, construction agencies, and startup innovators and entrepreneurs. So before taking up questions, I need you to explain the technology. What is LGSF construction and how it is different than conventional construction systems in vogue?
Right. Okay. So basically what we offer is a end-to-end solution. When I say end-to-end solution, it starts with the building design, engineering calculations, then structural analysis, then you have detailing function, you have machine control systems. All these are fully integrated so that whatever you design using the software, which will result into frames which can be assembled to make exactly as per the design. So this is an entire set of operations starting to end. So it's basically end-to-end solution.
Would you like to tell what is LGSF construction for the sake of viewers? What is light gauge steel frame construction?
Okay, LGFS is it uses light gauge steel, and it in most cases they use high tensile steel, so that even though the thickness of the steel is less, but still you can get high strength material so that the consumptions of steel can be reduced and the construction activity can be done much faster than conventional methods. The other important aspect of this is that the amount of wastage involved in this is almost insignificant. The overall wastage of steel will be less than 1%. So that's one of the key benefits of that. Yep.
Would you like to tell us in what way this light gauge frame construction is different than conventional construction systems which are in practice? Primarily cast in place RCC frame construction.
So right now, before I explain that, what I thought it's worth mentioning that who are we and what defines us? Basically, us is a technology company specializing in cold form steel. And what defines us is productivity and innovation. These are the two things which really drives us. So key features of this technology is speed of construction. Number two is less labor involvement, because then we have flexibility in design, return on investment, then we have less waste and sustainability. Also, this CFS lends itself to offset construction. these are the main advantages of using this LGS or CFS. These technology, anything you design using these technologies can address high wind loads. It can be designed to seismic zones. Also, this can be planned to make fire resistance as well. So all these key important parameters required for a construction can be put into the design stage, and then you can make sure that the structure adheres to those requirements, characters.
My next question is, since you have been promoting this system in India as well as abroad, what are the apprehensions of professionals as regards light gauge steel frame construction and how it can be addressed?
Right. So the acceptance level currently in US and Australia, it's very, very high. So if I go to US market, right now, US is our major market now. Number of companies are adopting our technology, and they do a lot of multi-level construction in US. So as I said, one of the characters is speed of construction, and the quality of the construction is very good. So they're all adopting it. It's well known in US. So they don't have any hesitations in doing that. In Australia, also same way, the acceptance level is very high, and the adoption, we don't have any problems in that. When coming to India and some other places, I think people are not really comfortable when they knock the walls. So they're not really comfortable. So there are other options which are available by filling up the foam concrete and other things, but that is not really most effective solutions. So I'm not sure how we can address that issue of that. That's inherent thing, but it is a fully designed steel cage, and safety is as good as any other construction actually. But if people have some apprehensions, it's hard to address that.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. My next question is, being drywall construction, it is very important that connections between the frame and panels, the structural members and panels are proper and rigid so as to have structural integrity. How connections are being ensured in this system?
Yeah. So in addition to this, we also have designed the fasteners, the screws to fix them. We have also designed the connectors. So we offer those connectors and screws to our customers. So it's all designed and available, so you can straight away use them. This has been exclusively designed for this CFS or LGS. So it's all available. We are happy to support our customers with supply of connectors and screws and other things. Yeah.
Okay. The next question is also related with connections. Whenever I talk about the light gauge steel frame construction in India, I am always confronted with the question that there is always a gap between wall panel and beam and columns of light gauge, leading to leakage of water at later stage. So would you like to comment on that?
Sorry, water leakage.
Yeah, because you have a light gauge structural members, that is beam and column, and then you have a wall panel where you put cement panels on both the sides and fill rock wool or whatever. Then at a later stage, water sometimes seeps in, and you don't know the source.
I think water should not seep in actually. If you have some construction issues, okay, then possibly it is, but otherwise no. Okay. My answer would be it shouldn't happen. Okay. It shouldn't happen.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that is what I wanted to know. Yeah. So the water leakage or water tightness is not an issue here.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay. Yeah. As you just now touched upon that, as regards wall panels, there are several options with regard to outer faces and the core in between. So would you like to, explain to our viewers what are the various options available and which one you think is the best?
I think, you have plenty of options these days for the external wall cladding and internal wall cladding.
Okay.
External, you can use some of them use the steel sheets for that.
Okay.
Color steels, they are using it. Some of them use fiber cement, some of them magnesium board. End of the day, what finish you want to get it for the external finish, what you want to get it, that's a driving factor, and how much you can spend on that. So the range is quite large, and each one has got its own features, like magnesium board. They are more of a cost-effective kind of a situation. Fiber cement board is also a good material which can be used. If you use color-bond steel, probably that will have much more value. So each one has got a different feature, but you have plenty of options these days. And based on the budget and the quality of finish you want to have it, you can have it.
What about core, hollow core?
Okay, inside there are different kinds of material available in order for two purposes. One is for the insulation purpose and also for the sound ecosystem. Also, there are some fiber, what do you call, the glass wool material is available. So the gap in between that can be utilized to increase the the insulation, also the sound ecosystem.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is general perception that light gauge steel frame wall panels sound hollow, which is not comfortable for the occupant, especially in India, because as we have all grown in buildings with solid walls having metallic sound. So what's your opinion on this, and how it is being addressed?
See, there are two things. One is the strength of the structure. Strength of the structure is as good as any other construction. So, and it's just a question of perception. People start living it, then they'll enjoy it. One of the beauty of this thing is you can have a wonderful finish inside, which you can't get it from other construction methods. So you have a wonderful, interiors when you do it with gypsum board or something like that. So all I can say is the strength-wise, you are not at a disadvantage. So it's just that you don't get the same sound, but effective-wise, as good as that. If you have a glass door, let's say glass window, right? So somebody can, knock it and break it, So those kind of issues are always there. But generally, from the construction point of view, it is as good as any other construction.
The next question is about floors. As regards floors of typical light gauge steel frame construction, there are many options, such as cast in situ RCC slab, deck slab over profile sheet, or slab with LGSF lattice girders. Which is more suitable and prevalent, and which one you recommend in Indian context?
So this again depends upon what you want to get out of that. Some people wanted that it should be soundproof and those kind of things, that sound should not be there, disturbance should not be there. So there are a lot of what do you call research has been done, and now even with the steel, that even the creaking sounds and all, they are not available now. They are not there. If you design it and construct it properly, so you'll not have that sounds as well. So generally, fiber cement board should cover that aspect. It shouldn't be a problem. Use that. But if you want to increase the level, you can use the concrete, in situ concrete. If you're constructing a heavy, you want that the density, the load bearing capacity should be very high. In that case, you can have that, flooring systems as well. You can use that.
Okay. Next question is about functional performance. How do you rate functional performance of cold form steel frame buildings in terms of thermal comfort, fire resistance, water tightness, and indoor air quality?
Oh, that's the best I would say as available in the market, I would say. So the beauty of this is that when you design a building or a house, so the design allows you to give what fire rating you are expecting, what kind of a seismic zone you're working. The other one is what wind loads you have. These parameters can be incorporated in the design stage itself so that the output you get out of that can address all the three questions. So it's much safer. It can be well designed, and it's very effective. The other aspect I would want to do is want to explain here is that the utilization of material is also much better in case of steel frames.
Okay.
You don't waste anything. As I mentioned, the steel wastage is hardly less than 1%. So for any kind of building you do it, wastage is very minimal, and you don't see any rubbish on the floors of any of these construction sites actually.
Okay. Is light gauge steel frame construction energy efficient and environment friendly?
Yep. So as I mentioned earlier, you can maintain the insulation level, whatever level you want to achieve in that. So I think some of the constructions are also done in the very close to that Himalayan region as well for defense purposes. So only thing is the thickness of the insulation used has to be increased. I think normally in other places they're using 89 profile, whereas in the defense establishments closer to the Himalayas and other places, I was told they're using 150 profile. So that way you're able to increase the insulation requirements. And yeah, they're achieving perfect results.
Okay. The next is, what about seismic and cyclone resistance of LGSF construction, and how do you rate its structural performance over conventional construction?
So I would say all the calculations, everything done is on all the engineering calculations and structural analysis done for each and every construction you do it, right? And also it gives you the reports, analysis reports, so that any engineer wanted to have a review of that, it's easy for him to do it. So this system allows you to give you an opportunity for you to quote the seismic zones, then wind speeds, all that. If you give it to that, then design is done based on the requirement.
Okay.
So this should be the perfect. I can't comment about other systems, but
okay,
you will certainly get what you wanted in this system.
Okay. As you might be knowing, Mr. Mohan, we have recommended use of LGSF up to G+3 only in India. How many stories are being built with LGSF abroad, and which is the tallest building standing across the globe?
Right. I think, see, the standard one which is being built is about 7 in US.
Okay.
Quite a popular one. 7 is a quite popular one. They're building hotels, they're building aged care, residential students accommodation. Then they are building the apartments. All of them are generally 7, around that number. So that is being done comfortably because all the aspects have been done. Fire rating has been done, seismic zones, everything has been done. So there's absolutely no problem in doing up to 7. But in Iraq also, one of our customers has done some 14 floors or something like that. So yeah. So even that level they've gone, just using LGS.
Okay.
But with other, one of the beauty of this is this can be used in complement with other technologies as well. If you want to use some of the hot roll products also, some of the way, some ideal, some locations if you want longer spans and all. So you can also this will allow you to use that in combination as well.
Okay.
Like sometime back we were discussing about the concrete flooring also. So it gives you multiple opportunities to combine with other best available structures.
My next question is, please elaborate on codes, standards, design aids, and softwares to be used for design and construction of such buildings.
Sorry, codes?
Codes,
Yes.
standards, design aids, and softwares.
Okay. So what we have currently is that we have about 8 building codes, which our software can take it.
Okay.
So our customers will have a choice of 8 softwares. They can tell us what they wanted to choose. I think in India, mostly they're using the American standards or Australian standards.
Okay.
But you have a choice. We offer that choice.
Okay.
Yeah. And standards, what else? Sorry, you mentioned.
Okay, softwares. You have your own. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the other thing about is that the other features which software offers is that one of the important feature I want to mention here is that it gives you a lot of scalability of the operations. Suppose, for example, you started off with one equipment and your target is to build 100 houses, but your demand has increased. Now you require at the rate of 200 houses per month. So all you need to do is add one more equipment. The software is same, technology is same, everything's same. But just adding one equipment in the factory, you're just doubling up the operations. So that gives you a lot of scalability in operations. And also it gives you portability. When I say portability, what happens if you, like India is a vast country, if your operations are located in northern region, and if you have a project to be done somewhere in south, so if you have some framecad, other framecad customers, if you pass on the data to him, he can produce the members and it can be, manufactured close to the site as well. So it has got a lot of flexibility in doing that as well.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You have included Indian standards as well? Indian standards.
See,
yes.
my understanding is the Indian standards for LGS are not yet ready.
Yeah, there is Indian standard IS 801. There is Indian standard IS 801.
That is not exclusively meant for that. I think that is for thicker gauges, I was told.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's not exclusively for 0.75, 1.15.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we have to design a building in India using LGSF, so you mean to say your software will give us options of 8 standards which are across the globe?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
So the other aspect of it is that when you finish a design, it also gives you a report. So it's easy for the engineers to check with the report for the compliance, even though it's not to Indian standards, but the report gives them an assessment whether it meets the Indian code or not.
That's okay. Okay. Next is what is the service life or you can say durability of these buildings?
Yeah, I think basically 2 things we need to consider. One is the steel, the other is galvanized coating. Normally, steel doesn't lose its strength if you don't disturb that. I mean, if it doesn't corrode, then it retains its strength, right? So what we do is we put a galvanized coating, which is of 275 grams per square meter. If you add that, they say research has been done in US where they said the corrosion rate of galvanizing, not the steel, it'll last at least for about 100 years. The other aspect we need to consider is that you are covering up with other cladding material. So you're not exposing this galvanized product to outside environment. So the life, I think minimum here in Australia, they give 50-year warranty. Steel mills give 50-year warranty. And it can go up to 100 years, I would guess.
Wonderful. Next is how do we carry out maintenance of services, namely plumbing, electrical, sanitary installations, and sewerage pipes after the building is put to use? Do we need to give special training to the inhabitants, or there is any SOP which is to be followed?
I think for see this, what happens when you design a building, you also allow the service holes when you in the frame itself. So plumbing, everything is done within the walls, and it is generally the same as what others do it. You don't require, the resident doesn't need to know actually. Yeah.
So it's absolutely similar to what we have in normal construction.
Yeah. Much better than, I would say.
Okay.
Much better than. It's much. You can have a good layout of the flow of the electrical cables and plumbing material, cold water, hot water, lines, everything. So it's all well thought and well planned services you can provide.
Okay. The next is, the most prevailing question which is being asked by everyone is about cost. So would you like to, throw some light on what is the cost of such buildings in comparison to RCC buildings?
See, if you match with the quality to quality, I would say this is cheaper.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, because 2 or 3 things I would like to add here.
Sure.
One of them is the speed with which you construct. So time has got a value, right?
Yes.
You can, you're not having any wastage.
Yes.
Then, so the amount of steel required for transportation cost, for example, if the other type of construction weighs 100 kilos, this is going to weigh about 50 to 60 kilos. So the amount of transportation you're doing it is less, right? The wastage is less. So if you put all these things into, if you add value to each and every activity what we discussed, then probably this will be cheaper. Especially I was told in the hilly zones, this is much cheaper than other technologies.
Normally during construction, the elements are handled roughly, if you go to any Indian construction site. So, in case LGSF panels gets, damaged, or there is abrasion or peeling of galvanization, do we need to replace the section, or can it be repaired?
Okay. So what happens is this galvanizing damage, there are 2-3 kinds of damages. If it is bent, then it has to be replaced.
Okay.
With the same section. But if there is a scratch, see, the beauty of this zinc is it heals on its own. If there is a scratch, it heals on its own. So you don't have to do anything for that scratches.
Next is, do we have to learn special skills to implement this technology in the field?
So this is, I would say, as user-friendly as any other software you use, like any other thing you use it. We continuously keep on improving the software system so that it becomes more and more user-friendly for you. So it's much more easier than other systems, I would say. This technology is much more simpler and easier, especially for the construction site workers. It's much easier and they can do it much faster with minimum labor.
Okay.
Training is not required actually. Everything is stamped with labels and all. So it's very easy to do.
As I was telling you in the beginning that this is one of the most promising technologies. So can you just tell us in what way it is going to help Indian construction sector? LGSF, in what way it is going to help Indian construction sector? Speed
with which you can construct.
Okay.
That's one of the major strengths of it. Number 2 will be the quality of the product which you're going to get it. So everything is done to engineering. There are no assumptions there. Each and every element is weighed, and then wastage is less. You can design to whatever quality of construction you want to make it, like about sound ecosystems or wind loads, what you have, seismic zone. So you can fine tune the construction based on the environment where you're constructing it. So by doing all this, you're trying to make it faster, easier, and sit accurately. So no reworks are done. You know, if everything is constructed perfectly, you don't have to do rework.
Okay. My next question is, in India, what is happening right now that most of the buildings which where there is change in use or there is more requirements, they add another floor. So for that they prefer to use LGSF. What do you say on that? You have existing buildings of RCC or frame construction or load bearing masonry, and even universities. I came across one NIT, National Institute of Technology. They wanted to add another floor, and then they studied all the technology, and then they said LGSF is the better option. So, being an expert, what do you say? Is it good to add another floor using LGSF?
Yeah. Actually, see, the beauty of that is that basically because of less weight, it is able to withstand that.
Okay.
Because it's less weight. So there's nothing wrong. I would guess engineers have approved it. That means they have all studied well. But in number of countries that people are the top floors, they are trying to convert it into the LGS floors. That's the practice in many countries. Yeah, that's a good thing. You're trying to, space is very important, valuable. So they're trying to convert the available space into a good construction. Yeah, so good space for utilization.
So another question in this regard is, so it is compatible. LGSF construction is compatible with masonry construction, typical masonry construction, brick masonry construction, and typical cast in C2 RCC construction.
You can treat it. So here in Melbourne, what they do is most of the residences, when they construct with the LGS, they bolt those frames to the concrete floor. The floor is concrete.
Okay.
Most of the houses built here, floor is concrete. You bolt them to the frames to the concrete.
My next question is, as our Honorable Prime Minister has given a clarion call of Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliant India, and build new young India. So how do you see future of LGSF in Indian construction sector?
It's a difficult question for me.
Because you're sitting abroad and you have seen Indian market grow, construction sector. So do you see, is there any future of LGSF in India?
All I want to say is what we can do to do that.
Sure, go ahead.
So we got a good model here. What we do to promote that Atmanirbhar or what you mentioned right now. So what we do is we transfer our technology to our customers. Right? Without much strings. We give a technology to them. We train them. We commission the equipment. We support them. We provide with space. We do everything possible to them so that they go to the field and then design and build on their own. We don't want to interfere into anybody's business. All we do is we transfer the technology and support them lifelong. As long as they use our equipment, we support them. And as and when they require, we provide them the training. Also, in addition to all this, what we do, if on-site construction, if expertise is required, we got a few people in our team. We can depute them on for a month or 2 months there to support them to finish the customer's project. So all we can do is we can support them in total, no royalties. We don't charge any royalties. All we do is we offer software to our customers and we keep on bringing the upgrades. We keep transferring it to our customers. Anything we do for one customer, we try and pass it on to every customer in the world. That's how we do it. All we do is we charge for the software license So these licenses are to be renewed on an annual basis. And we keep on upgrading because a team of people are working on a continuous basis to improve our systems all the time. In addition to that, to make it convenient for all the small scale industries or medium scale industries, so we try to indicate all the details. There's an option there in my framecad. If you go into that portal, all your records of steel purchases, consumptions, and the identification marks, everything can be recorded there, and it's all well connected. So we try and provide more and more facilities to our customers so that they can work instead of integrating with other things. They should be able to work with us on an independent role as such. Yeah. So that's all we can do.
I think most of the questions you have answered. So before we part away, would you like to sum it up? Would you like to say something?
Right. Oh, I would say firstly, thanks for giving us this opportunity. But all I can say for this is that we have a wonderful system. It's best available, end-to-end design system. I believe more and more people should utilize in India and elsewhere in the world, so that things can be done much faster, much cleaner, much straighter. Yeah, it's a good system to make use of.
Okay. So with this, we come to end of this very lively and informative session with Mr. Mohan. On behalf of BMTPC, on behalf of my ministry, and on my personal behalf, I gratefully acknowledge your participation in the session. Thank you very much. I'm quite sure that people like you around LGSF will be great success in Indian context and will be one of the system for future construction. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's always a pleasure. Anybody who's interested, we'll be happy to help them.
Thank you. It's time for me to say goodbye, and I will come again with other experts on other innovative technologies. Bye, Mr. Mohan. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.